I have a bunch of penguins on my computer. This is Linux Mint, and this is Arch Linux. Does it start? Absolutely not. Why? I have no clue. After making a bunch of Linux videos and blindly installing all sorts of things, my penguins have become bloated. I don't even know what kind of stuff I have installed or how to uninstall them. Good news is that I only need one Penguin operating system on my computer. And I want a clean slate to actually try and daily drive Linux for some time, I don't know, till I rage quit. So I've made an executive decision to completely nuke everything I currently have installed, reduce it to atoms. Then I want to install Linux from scratch again and, wait for it, install Windows. Relax. It's not in the way you think. I tried to do this once and failed. Make this my main display. And it's frozen. Okay. That took like 2 weeks and a bunch of pain. But it's been some time and I forgot the pain. Essentially, I need Windows to be able to run Adobe software, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this video, and it doesn't exist on Linux. And to do that, I can somehow install a virtual machine, essentially a fake computer inside of Linux that would run Windows with close to native performance. It's a very complicated process, so let's leave it till further into the video and let's begin by deleting all the Linux stuff that I currently have. First thing I did was find the Windows disk management utility that shows all the disks and their partitions. This is a disk and these are partitions. I have 2 disks in my computer. Then it was time to figure out what I needed to delete. Last time I installed Linux, I accidentally deleted my entire Windows hard drive with all my games and all the files. There she goes. So I had to be careful. My initial guess was that all of this is Linux, but I had to double check. Just kidding, I immediately deleted this one and then the other one too. Computers still worked, so that was good news. But my plan was to join all of this space together so that Linux could eat it all up. And there was a problem. It was split apart by this EFI partition. I had no idea what that was or how to delete it because all the options were grayed out. So I did some research and it turns out one of these 3 is meant for Windows, and if I delete that one, I don't know what's going to happen, but something not good. So I had to figure out which one of those I can delete and how to even do it. After browsing around a bit, I quickly remembered that I was going to have to use the CMD, the scary black box, to delete the EFI partitions. And after fiddling around for 30 minutes, I finally understood how to do it. First, I needed to launch the disk part utility by typing that in. By looking at the disk management utility before, I knew that all the Linux stuff was on the disk with less size. So that's the one I needed to select. Once I did that, I listed all of the partitions of this disk. Once again, this is a disk and you can split up the gigabytes inside of it into partitions like C or D drives. Here I saw that partitions 4 and 2 were system partitions and that they had 1513 megabytes. Before deleting them though, I had to make sure that neither one of them was the one that Windows was using. Otherwise, disaster. Luckily, earlier, while I was trying to figure out what I was doing, I pasted in this command, which I think made the partition that I wasn't supposed to delete appear inside of this PC, and it had 100 megabytes of free space. The ones that I was about to delete had 1513, which meant that they weren't the partitions that Windows was using. So I typed in select partition 4 and then delete partition override, which deleted the 4th one. Then I selected partition 2 and deleted it as well. And when I went back into the disk management utility, I saw that there was a bunch of black unallocated space. That's good. So then I needed to download Linux. And after a long, tedious debate in my head, I decided to go with Linux Mint. I wasn't sure which version to download because I wanted to install a different desktop environment on top of it. Essentially on Linux, if you don't like how stuff looks like, you can just install a new desktop. So I just decided to go with the first option. Then I clicked on one of the links which downloaded an ISO file. For the installation, I was going to need a USB drive. So I plugged it in and for some reason it didn't appear. I saw it in my system tray but nowhere else. So I went back to the disk management utility and turns out I used the same USB to install Arch Linux before. That's why it wasn't appearing. It wasn't formatted the right way. But I thought that shouldn't be a problem. So then I needed to download a tool which would put the ISO file onto my USB. I knew a good one was called Rufus, so I googled for it and downloaded the installer. Once I opened it, I saw this window where I clicked select here, selected my ISO file, file, and then leaving everything set to default, I pressed start. After clicking OK and yes a few times, it started doing stuff, and once it said ready, I closed the window, as well as deleted the ISO file and the Rufus tool. Now, all I needed to do to install Linux was restart my computer and smash the delete key on my keyboard to get into the BIOS menu. Boom! Once I was there, I selected my USB and clicked OK. It then put me in this temporary Linux Mint space through which I could install Linux. There was this disk at the top, and once I opened it, the installation process began. Here I clicked continue a bunch of times, and then came the hard part, selecting where on my computer I wanted to install Linux. I had Windows installed on this SSD, and I wanted Linux here, so I chose something else. I tried to be super careful here because this was the exact place where I deleted everything on my disk before. I typed in sudo fdisk-l in the terminal, which essentially listed out all of my disks and their partitions. I knew that I had freed up around 300 gigabytes on Windows, so I was looking for a partition with a similar size, this one here. So I selected it in this menu, clicked plus, and got bamboozled. Wait a minute, I'm super confused. Because this disk had 2 terabytes of available space, and I wanted to install Linux on a disk that only had 500 gigabytes. And so after 15 minutes of research, I was finally able to figure it out. Turns out I had to select Windows Boot Manager here, good thing I did the research, then select my free space and create 2 new partitions for Linux. First one was the swap partition. This space essentially acts as extra RAM on your disk, and I found that it's best if it was equal to the amount of RAM I had, so I set it to 32,000 megabytes. The other one I needed was the root partition. It's the place where all Linux files live, like the C drive on Windows. So here I chose the /, it means root, and it already had all of my leftover space filled in. Just to be extra careful, I decided to double check whether what I was about to do was what I wanted to do. I saw that the name here was the same as my 500 gigabyte disk name where I wanted to install Linux. That made me feel pretty confident, and I decided to continue the procedure. All I had to do now was restart my PC and see if it worked. Boom. Now that we're in, things from here should be pretty easy going. I'm going to open up my terminal and also Firefox, flashbanged, and look for how to install KDE Plasma into Linux Mint. KDE Plasma is essentially a different desktop environment. It replaces everything you see here. So I want to install that on top of Linux Mint. Now, do I go with Reddit or Linux Mint forums? Probably Reddit. You don't want to do this. If you're a new Linux user, you will feel lost because you added a Qt-based desktop environment on OK. In case you're not new to Linux and tempted by Plasma, go with MX Linux KDE. Let's not listen to that. If you want to install KDE on Mint, the recommended way is to start with XFCE, not Cinnamon. Cinnamon and KDE are known to not work well together, so I probably shouldn't have installed Linux Mint then. It's fantastic that I've read about this just now. KDE works perfectly fine with Mint Cinnamon. Okay. Installing KDE. So to do that, aptitude install KDE standard. Let's paste that into the terminal. Could not open lock file, permission denied. So probably sudo installed KDE standard. Oh, it's happening. Then I need to select SDDM and then reboot. Okay, so here I choose SDDM. If you want to exclusively use KDE Plasma, I guess I do, you can uninstall the default Cinnamon desktop environment with this sudo apt purge Cinnamon desktop environment and sudo apt auto remove. I'm just going to save this in a new text editor. Boom. And everything seems to be done. So I'll just do sudo reboot and we should be good to go. Boink. Okay, we are in. I'm changing my mouse cursor already. Now, one thing here, when I go to my display settings and set the scale to 200%, even 300%, nothing seems to happen. Everything is super tiny on my display. So I'm not really sure how to fix this. Oh, the icons here became super big, but nothing else on the taskbar is big. Look at how tiny everything is. You know what? First, maybe let's try to remove the Cinnamon desktop environment. I'm just going to copy this line and maybe that fixes something. Boom, enter. Oh, and it's removed just like that. Well, that didn't fix the scaling. Oh wait, this desktop environment is still here. I just randomly logged in. What? How does that work? So let's try to fix the scaling issue. Everything is super small now. Global scaling doesn't change the taskbar for me either on X11. Works correctly in Wayland. I think I'm using X11. I saw that on the login screen, and the login screen looks very interesting, by the way. There's a large keyboard that takes up half of the screen. Probably stuck waiting until Plasma 6 at this point. So how do do I switch to Wayland? Go to System Settings, Colors and Themes, Login Screen, and look for the behavior. Settings, SDDM, Login Screen. Oh yes, this is the login screen that I see. It's not the best. Get new SDDM themes. Oh, look at how many there are. Okay, I like this one. It has 5 out of 10 star reviews. And is it here? Yes, it is. I can just select it and apply. Beautiful. And there's behavior. Click behavior to see the automatically log in line where you can use the drop down to select the session for Plasma X11 or Plasma Wayland. Wait, I don't have automatically login selected. That's not good. There's no Plasma Wayland enabled. It's normal. Fedora KDE is like that. More and more I'm starting to think that I installed the wrong Linux distro for this. I should probably not have gone with Linux Mint. For Wayland support, you need to install Plasma Workspace Wayland. Okay, let's try this. It's installed. Can I log in now? This is the full screen keyboard I was talking about. It just appears and you can't do anything. Up here in the corner, I can select Plasma Wayland now. Oh, the current theme cannot be loaded due to the errors below. That's not good. So what if I log in either way? There's the keyboard again. Okay, beautiful. Everything works now. I'm not sure what the theme thing was. Let's maybe go into settings, more appearance settings. So global theme is Breeze. Let's use Breeze Dark, I guess. Apply. Ooh, look at that. Icons. Let's go with Breeze Dark, the classic. So everything seems to be working, even the cursors. Maybe they're not working. What if I apply these ones? No, the cursors aren't working. Okay, so now I think I want to uninstall the Cinnamon desktop environment. The cursor is working here. Working, not working. Working, not working. Interesting. How to uninstall Cinnamon from Linux Mint. Sudo apt get remove purge Cinnamon. Would do the trick for sure, but the outcome is uncertain to me. You might end up with an unpredictable terminal only system. That's probably not a good idea. Okay, maybe let's just leave Cinnamon in place. Also, let's quickly change the wallpaper. And now for the main event of the evening, or should I say of the night, let's try to get Windows working inside of a virtual machine inside of Linux. If I'm going to try to use only Linux continuously for a long amount of time, then I need to cheat a little bit and get into Windows to actually edit videos. And I think doing it through a virtual machine through Linux is fair play. I mean, it is fair play because I make the rules. Speaking of Windows, if you've ever tried searching for anything, you know that Windows search absolutely is not the best. So I want to take this opportunity to tell you about UltraSearch, the sponsor of this video and the ultimate file search tool for Windows. UltraSearch is built for helping you find your files fast. No indexing, no waiting, just type and boom. Did you see how fast that was? It essentially scans every corner of your system and finds files by name or even content. Can't remember the file name? Just type in a phrase you remember from the document and it'll find it. That's pretty cool. And you can preview files directly from the results list. This is such a great feature to have on Windows, especially after using macOS, which has this built in. For more complex or repeated searches, UltraSearch supports search syntax and regular expressions. It's also great for teams too. It can be extended with a central search index. That means super fast content search across your company shares without stressing the network. UltraSearch is developed by Jam Software, the same team behind TreeSize, trusted by millions around the world for over 25 years. You can try UltraSearch yourself for free, and right now you'll get 30% off your entire first year of UltraSearch Professional with the link in the description. So get started today. Okay, back to Linux. Now I'm not expecting this to be easy. Actually, I'm expecting this to be incredibly annoying and hard because last time it took over 2 weeks, I think. I remember all the main core steps. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't remember much. So let's begin. Single GPU pass-through tutorial. And I should also do single monitor. Okay, still the same one pops up. Let's go. Okay, first order of business, I need to make sure that I have VT-D and Intel. For me, this will say AMD, something to do with virtualization. All of this is inside my computer BIOS, the thing where you smash delete when restarting. So I'm going to first make sure that that's enabled. It said enabled. Next order of business, installing anything related to KVM, QEMU, libvirt, and virt manager. I need all of this to run the virtual machine. In order to run virtual machines with the graphical manager is to simply install the following packages. Okay, so let's try this. Now I'm also going to keep track of what I did inside of this notepad. Let's open the terminal and paste this in. And it's installing a bunch of stuff. That's a bingo. Okay, so now I should have a program called virt manager on my computer. Virtual machine manager. Unable to connect to libvirt QEMU system. Verified that libvirt daemon is running. So I probably didn't install something. Good to know. Why does my notepad have the Wayland logo instead of the notepad logo? I was not a member of the DNSMASQ group. I have added myself and confirmed I'm grouped in the other two. What does that mean? How do I add myself to this group on Linux Mint? Check if the group exists. It usually does. Okay, let's check. This is empty, so it probably doesn't exist. If it returns a line with the group name, the group exists. So it returned an empty line. To resolve this, you should create the group first and then add yourself to it. Sudo group add and the group. Okay. Add your user to the newly created group. Replace username with your actual username. Okay. Paste this in. And my username is dog. Okay. Everything's noted. I like when it's so clean, nothing's happening, no errors. And then verify your user is in the group by running this command. So groups dog. Oh, it lists all of the groups and here's the one I want. Beautiful. So now if I open Virt Manager, it should open. Oh, it does. And there are no errors. Okay. Next order of business, I need to edit my grub configuration file. So let's first find where it is. It should be etc sysconfig grub. But I don't trust this video. Where is grub config file on Linux Mint? etc default grub. So now inside of grub command line Linux, this is very pixelated. He said Intel IOMMU equals on and IOMMU equals PT. So I need to do this for AMD. So space AMD IOMMU equals on. There were no spaces here. Almost made a rookie mistake. And then IOMMU equals PT, making sure I didn't make any spelling mistakes. Now I do escape :WQ down here so that it writes and quits this file. And then I need to regenerate grub using this command. Okay, let's try this. I think we should be good. It found Windows, which it should have found. It found other stuff. So let's continue. No, let's not continue. Let's write down what I did. Okay, I'm not really sure what he does next. He adds something into his Dracut config. I don't know what Dracut is. I'm hearing about it for the first time. Dracut is a tool in Linux used to create the initial RAM file system image, init-rams, that's a word I've heard before, that the kernel loads early in the boot process. So he goes into etc dracut.conf.d local. Let's do exactly the same thing. Boom. Okay, it says new directory. So I created all of this. None of this existed before. Then he does add a driver equals all of this. Let's do the same. So then I write and quit again. Oh, can't open file for writing. Oh, I didn't do it with sudo. Okay, big mistake. Wait, let's close the terminal. I'm not sure how to quit out of Vim there. Oh wait, I did do it with sudo. What? Okay, it is here. So why can't I save this file? Write and quit. Can't open file for writing. Press enter or type command to continue. Enter. Oh, okay. That was a rookie mistake. I first probably need to create this directory. This folder doesn't exist inside of my etc folder. So cd/ls. I should see etc here somewhere. Boom, there it is. So go into etc, then mkdir to make directory and dracut.conf.d. Cannot create directory, permission denied. Sudo mkdir. And now if I do this and say add driver, all of that stuff inside, escape, write and quit, it should work. It does work. Beautiful. Next I do sudo dracut-f and a bunch of stuff. These commands are definitely getting weirder. Let's see if this works. Dracut command not found. Oh, so maybe I don't have it installed. This package builds a bootable init ramps for Linux kernel packages. So do I just click install here? Additional software has to be removed. Please look at the list of changes below. Okay, continue. Installing package. Look at the Wayland logos in my taskbar. That's not good. So I think Dracut should be installed now. If I click install again, the package could not be installed. It is already installed. Scared me there for a second. So now let's double check that everything I just did is still there. If I go into dracut.conf, does this thing exist? Yes, it does. And now hopefully I can paste this in. Dracut-f something something. Boom. Cannot find module directory, lib modules uname-r. And no kernel was not specified. Is that the same thing he gets in the video? Okay, next he just restarts his PC. So what does this mean? It means that Dracut is trying to find kernel modules for the currently running kernel version under lib modules, but the directory does not exist or is missing required files. How do I fix this? I'm using Linux Mint. Ensure kernel headers and modules are installed for your running kernel. Run sudo apt update. This just updates everything. And then sudo apt install Linux headers. Let's try this one. Okay, it installed it. So does the previous command work now? Boop. No, still doesn't work. work. Okay, I'm now at the point where I have no clue what any of this is. What's Dracket, first of all? I can read about what it is, but I still don't understand it. There's so many different words here that I have no clue what they mean that describe the thing I'm looking for. Okay, what should happen next in the tutorial? There wasn't much useful stuff there. So from where do I not understand what's happening? Probably from here, from the point that I installed Dracket. All of this I did in a previous video, more or less, so I think that will be good. And here we go, the problems begin because all the tutorials are different. I was expecting everything to work from just one tutorial, so I didn't have to get lost among 30 tutorials like in the last video. But I've hit a roadblock and I don't know what's another way. Okay, maybe let's just restart the computer and double check if everything that I've done up until now is working. Here we go. Two options. Do I continue and receive pain later once it doesn't work eventually? Or do I receive the pain now trying to fix what doesn't work? Continue the tutorial. Next, it says that I need to install Windows into the virtual machine. I've done this many times, so probably not going to be an issue. First, I need a Windows ISO file that I'm downloading from the Microsoft website. It's 5 gigabytes, so it's going to take a while. Boom, the ISO file has been successfully obtained. Let's move it to downloads for some safe storage. Then I do Virt Manager, and this is where I'm going to create a new virtual machine. New machine, local install media, forward. Then I select it, forward. Here I choose how much RAM I want to give my virtual machine. I have 16 gigabytes. I should probably divide this number by 2. Boom, this much. And let's just give it 4 CPU cores, I guess. Okay, let's give it half. Forward. It's going to take up 128 gigabytes. I guess that's okay. Name, Windows 11. And then customize configuration before installing. Network selection. Not sure about that. Okay, finish. Now I need to double check that the hypervisor is KVM, and it is. This has to be UEFI and chipset Q35. Good. Then go into CPU topology, manually set CPU topology. Wait, why does it say sockets 8? I think I need 8 cores, not sockets. Apply. Next, I need to remove the virtual network. Yes, remove. Then I go into boot options, enable this and move it up. Apply so that I can install Windows easily. Then begin installation. Beautiful. There we are, a tiny little screen. So this is just a regular Windows installation. Next, next, next. Windows 11 Pro, of course. Next, accept. Next, install, and we wait. Let's connect you to a network. Oh, here we go. I definitely want to bypass this because I don't want to create a Microsoft account. Is it still Shift F10? Yes, it is. Bypass NRO. Wait, I forgot how to do this. Oh, it's OOBE/bypass NRO. Now I shouldn't need a Microsoft account. This is a great tip if you're installing Windows, by the way. And boom, there's I don't have internet. Lovely. Hi, hello. I think we're about to be in. So we should be halfway there now. I have a Windows virtual machine, but it's using crappy virtualization hardware. This is like very small resolution and it's 60 Hertz probably. I can't even change it. It's 1280 by 800. So I need to make sure that this Windows machine uses my actual graphics card so that it's lightning fast. Next, I need to add a small virtual hard drive to install something within Windows that would play nice with Linux, I think. So add hardware, storage, 0.1 gigabytes, and I need bus type virt.io. Finish. Then I need to download this virt.io driver ISO. Stable. Why would I get unstable? Okay, this is downloaded. I need to add another storage thing. And then we start it up again. Now I should be able to install all of the drivers. There should be a CD here inside of my file explorer. There it is. Which one do I choose? You chose X64. Let's do the same. Next, agree to license agreement. And the next a bunch of times to do a default installation. Next, I need to go to device manager and check disk drives, and it should show virt.io. It's here. Good news. So far it's going according to plan. I'm afraid I'll hit a wall soon because some of the stuff in the beginning didn't work. Now I removed this drive here. Oh, I almost deleted the wrong thing. I was about to delete this virt.io disk and he was deleting CD-ROM 2. Are you sure you want to delete the storage? Yes. Almost slipped up there. Next, I go into edit preferences, enable XML editing here. Then I go here or here. Wait, he has one SATA disk 1 and I have SATA disk 1 and SATA CD-ROM. I think I should remove this. Then I go into XML and change the target bus to vert.io. I have no clue what I'm doing. Type PCI, apply. Next, I add the internet into the Windows virtual machine. Okay, it works. Somehow I didn't expect that. And is there internet? There's an easier way to check. A bunch of icons just populated my start menu, which means we are connected. Shut her down again. Okay, the tutorial just said this is where the actual fun stuff begins. Oh, so just now it's getting difficult. I go into display spice, change that to VNC server, sure. And I want all interfaces, sure, again. Oh, here we go. Error changing VM configuration, unsupported configuration, char dev spice VMC. What does that mean? The tutorial guide didn't get an error here. VNC address all interface auto. VNC address all interface auto. It's the same and I'm getting an error. So mission 1 is to figure out what this is. Let's just yoink all of this and put that into Perplexity. What does this error mean? Pretend I'm a 5-year-old. Spice graphics to your VM. Configure the VM to use Spice display server instead of VNC. Okay, but that's doing it differently from the tutorial. If you want to use VNC or another display type without Spice, you must remove all Spice VMC channel devices from the VM's XML configuration. Wow. Oh, I've just realized something. I think single GPU pass-through means actually single GPU. I thought this meant single dedicated GPU. So my PC actually has 2 GPUs. One inside of the processor, that's the integrated GPU, and an actual graphics card, that's the dedicated GPU. That's why this tutorial is talking about using 2 computers to use this virtual machine, because actually there's just one single GPU. So it's impossible for it to display 2 monitors, I think. So I've been following the completely wrong tutorial for, I don't know, how long has it been? This is not the first day I'm recording this. So if I open console and do NeoFetch, you can see that I have CPU 1, that's AMD Ryzen 7 800X3D. Wait, that's a CPU. I meant GPU 1, that's the integrated graphics, Raphael, whatever that means. And there's the other GPU, Radeon RX 7800XT. This is not the right one, I think. Which one do I have? There it is. It's RX 7800XT. And here it's 7700XT. Could that be a problem? Potentially. Now, the bigger problem is probably that I was following the wrong tutorial. Now I did a bunch of stuff that I'm not really sure how to undo. What if I just chat GPT all of this? Let's vibe Linux this problem. Context. I have an integrated GPU and a dedicated one on my PC. I'm using Linux Mint. I want to get a Windows virtual machine working with GPU pass-through. Wait, how do you spell this word? Pass through. Okay, it's like passing through. Never mind. Imagine I'm a 5-year-old. Explain how to do this. Be extremely detailed. Is this going to give a legitimate answer? It could. It could also not. Before diving into the configuration, ensure your hardware supports IOMMU. I think I've already done this. It says IOMMU here. Performance counters supported. So I guess it's supported. Check motherboard support. Look for an option named SVM mode or AMD VI and ensure it's enabled. Surely it's enabled. So let's just double check SVM mode. Okay, it's enabled. I even took a picture. Oh, and it discarded my ChatGPT prompt. I'm not logged in, so I can't recover it. Well, let's write it again. Whew, there we go. What you need. Patience. This takes time. Step 2, install needed packages. Open the terminal and paste these commands. Should I do that on top of everything that I've already done? Maybe. Okay, let's just do it. But sire, just do it. I hope somebody got that reference. Sudo apt update. First command. I typed in the wrong password. The wrong password again. There it is. And then all of this. 0 upgraded, 0 newly installed, 0 to remove, and 8 not upgraded. So I had everything installed already. Cool. Add yourself to libvirt group. Paste this in. Beautiful. Then log out and back in or reboot. We'll do that now. Oh my god, it reset the GPT prompt again. Why can't I learn from my mistakes? Good thing I copied it. Wait, where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, the instructions slightly change every time, which is nice to see. I have done all of this, updated grub as well. You know what? Just in case, let's update it one more time. Oh, reboot your computer comes next. Let's not do it then. Installed all the required packages. Okay. You want to pass your RX 7800 XT, not your integrated GPU. You'll see something like this. 300 VGA compatible controller, and then then audio device 3001. Well, I see 0F000. Was it the same thing that I saw previously? Previously, I saw 03001. Now it's 0F. Copy these IDs down. So this one and audio device ID. That's the first ID. This is the second ID. Detach the GPU from Linux. Bind to VFIO PCI. Okay, so I definitely haven't done this before. Sudo vim etc modules. etc modules is obsolete and has been replaced by etc modules load D. Updating this file still works, but it is undocumented and unsupported. What if I copy all of this and tell ChatGPT your step 6 is outdated? Okay, it corrected itself. Now it's etc modules this. That created a new file. Add the following lines. Add those in, :W. I'm so scared to do anything. This could just not work at any point. Tell VFIO which PCI devices your GPU plus audio to grab. Create or edit this file. I remember this from Arch Linux, so sudo vim here, boink. Add this line replacing the IDs with your GPU IDs. So I replace this one with this, Control-Shift-V to make sure no typo can possibly occur. And this is the second one, okay? Write and quit. Blacklist the AMD GPU driver. This prevents Linux from loading the AMD GPU driver. I haven't done this before. Sudo vim this. This is also a completely new file. And then blacklist AMD GPU. This won't affect your integrated GPU since it uses a different device ID and driver. Sure thing. Write and quit. Nothing exploded so far. Update init RAM FS and reboot. Okay, this is where we see if we see anything actually. My display could just be black after this. You know what? Let's end and save the recording files just in case. Okay, we are good to go. Safety precautions in place. Command not found. Oh, I didn't expect this. Why does this not work? How to regenerate boot files on Linux Mint. Oh, it's update grub. Is that the same thing that it wants me to do? Maybe. Let's try it. This ChatGPT answer is cursed 100%. It's definitely giving me things from different distros. I think this is from Arch Linux. I remember some of these words when I tried to get virtualization working before, so this might go south really quickly. Nevertheless, let's do sudo reboot. Here we go. The classic. My display is completely black. Now, I do remember the previous video where I couldn't connect the dots in my head and use a second HDMI cable that goes into my actual... I'm an idiot. I plugged both HDMI cables into my graphics card. Does it work now? My monitor is super clean, no dust particles. We are in. I restarted it one more time and it just worked. But now you might be wondering, why does everything look super crappy? The maximum resolution is 1280 by 720 pixels. That's a downgrade from 4K. And believe it or not, this is what we want. I want everything here to run on my integrated GPU so that the Windows virtual machine can grab the actual GPU, the big boy. So I'm going to endure this quality loss for a little while. By the way, this is how 4K looks like, and this is the actual size of 720p. Isn't that just crazy? Next, I need to confirm VFIO is holding the GPU. So LSPCI NNK. This actually feels like a retro computing experience. I kind of like it. And Premiere Pro, the program that I'll use to edit this video, scales everything using bicubic. So I'm sure the screen recording will turn out a blurry mess. But for me, everything scales with nearest neighbor. I wish Premiere had the option to do nearest neighbor scaling. It says here kernel driver in use VFIO PCI next to my dedicated graphics card. That's exactly what I want. Next, set up the Windows virtual machine. I've already done that. Attach the GPU to the virtual machine. In VM settings, go to add hardware, choose PCI host device. This is it. And this is the audio controller. Finish. Step 9, fix display optional. If the VM doesn't show anything on the screen, remove the default video device. You must plug your monitor into the RX 7800 XT to see the Windows screen. Okay, so it should work. This is the moment of truth. Please work. If I switch to the other HDMI cable, I should see Windows. Let's wait for it to load actually. I really hope this works. My screen is so small, this virtual machine is actually big. Okay, we're in Windows. I'm going to switch the HDMI on my monitor and it's black. Not good. Very not good. Oh, it's back to this one. I don't think it should be black. What if I do right click and device manager, display adapters, This should be my graphics card, not the basic display adapter. Oh, I didn't finish reading the instructions. Once inside, install AMD GPU drivers from AMD.com. Boom! Windows now uses the full GPU. Okay, let's get back inside. I can smell potential. This is where I rage quit in the previous video, by the way. So I'm determined to get this to work. Oh, the good old Microsoft Edge. Let's start by signing you in and bringing over your passwords. Yeah, let's not do that. It's so hard to start using a browser. Finish. Boom. And there's a bunch of random ass news. Can I just get Firefox? This virtual machine is so hard to navigate because I have to scroll with the scroll bar to actually go up and down. Wait, I'm just setting up my Firefox and I heard like a sound when you plug in a USB. Let's go to display settings. Wait, there's two displays now. Okay, let's switch HDMI. Maybe I don't even need to install the AMD drivers. And it's black screen. But why does it show two displays there? No problem. We still have one more thing to do, and that's to install AMD drivers. AMD 7800X. I forgot the name of the GPU. Is that embarrassing? Probably. Or X7800XT. There we go, AMD website. In the previous video, I don't think it found my GPU, so now it finds it, which means it's actually installed. Express install. Going to see some AMD ads. Time remaining 59 minutes. Got spooked there for a second. I just heard another USB sound effect from Windows. Any second now. So everything should be good now, I think. If I go into my device manager and display adapters, there's my graphics card. Let's switch the HDMI cable. Surely this works. Please. Why is it still black? That's very not good. Every possible issue has been eliminated, and there's the second display here. So why doesn't it show up? Maybe I make this my main display. It's 1080p. It should go to 4K. Yes, it does. Oh, make this my main display. Okay, and quickly switch. Okay, it's still black screen. There's something here that's not working, clearly. And the entire virtual machine seems to be broken. I'm moving my mouse inside of it, but it's frozen. Maybe I just need to wait a little longer. It's just black here. And then it sends me back to HDMI 1, which is this output here. Everything on my screen just completely froze. Look, I'm moving my mouse cursor and it's not moving. Oh, it's kind of slightly teleporting all around. Not sure what's going on. Ladies and gents, we have a small issue once again. It's black screen. I pressed the reset key on my PC. Let's see what happens. Nothing. It could be the wrong HDMI thing cable. Now it should work. Boom, there it is. I will select Linux Mint here and nothing. Very cool. Luckily, I remember how to fix this from the last video. You go here, you press E, and then I need to delete something. Wait, it's no longer here. Uh-oh. What if I delete load video here? I don't think I should be deleting this. And then it says here Control X or F10 to boot. So Control X, no chance that works. It doesn't work. Perfect. Maybe I delete IOMMU equals PT, and there's nothing, just darkness. Oh, it finally turned on. I tried so many things to make it not be black screen inside of the grub boot menu. Turns out I just had to pull out the HDMI cable from my graphics card. I'm not sure why it shouldn't even grab my graphics card in the first place. I don't want to be plugging in and out an HDMI cable every time I turn on my computer, but I guess that's an issue to fix for another day. Now, the only mission that matters is getting the virtualization to work. This is also the next day. While I was sleeping, my brain cooked something up. I haven't asked ChatGPT how to do this with a single monitor. Maybe it doesn't work because I'm just using one monitor. Great question. Well, what do you know? A single monitor setup adds a small challenge. It's been a massive challenge. Since the RX 7800 XT's passed to the Windows virtual machine, Linux can't use it anymore. Yes, and your monitor has to switch between the integrated graphics and the dedicated graphics. Option 1, physically switch the monitor input. Yeah, I've done that. That doesn't work. How it works, and there's a feet emoji. Why did it decide to use this emoji? Okay, so boot Linux, monitor shows output from Raphael GPU. No, it doesn't. It shows a black screen. Start virtual machine, switch monitor input, shut down virtual machine, switch monitor back. I wish it was that simple. Oh, simple, stable, no bugs. Indeed. Cons, you have to manually switch monitor inputs. I don't mind switching monitor inputs. I don't want to get under the table every time and pull out and plug in the HDMI cable. Use Looking Glass. This lets you see and control the VM from a window inside Linux like it's an app. Okay, tell me more. Gotchas. Of course, they're gotchas. Needs a bit of RAM reserve, needs VirtIO drivers and memory sharing enabled, can be tricky first time but works great once set up. And there's a table, it says cost 0 and cost of Looking Glass is free. Thanks for doing multiple formats. Before I jump in and try Looking Glass, let's try it the normal way. Let's launch the virtual machine. Everything is black here, so I'm assuming that it's now using my dedicated graphics card to show everything here. So what if I switch my monitor input? Wait, I can see something. I don't know if you can see this, but there is something. Of course, this is not good, just colors and some weird stuff. Can I switch back to the normal HDMI? Yes, I can. I'm here. Can you see that? In this window, it shows Windows. Oh, it's actually here. So then, okay, there's Windows. I can control it from here. What do I do now? And if I shut down the virtual machine, does everything crash again? And everything just crashed. I'm moving my mouse. Nothing's moving. Why would it crash? The recording seems to have survived, but my PC randomly restarted and now I'm back here. Very interesting behavior. And this is the point where I'm really not sure what to do. It's the exact same spot I got stuck last video. Oh, this brings back memories. So let's try to calmly resolve the issue. So maybe there's something wrong with the pass-through. Well, obviously there is. You're running into very common GPU pass-through problems on Linux with AMD GPUs. These problems are caused by how AMD drivers reset the GPU and how Linux and your motherboard handle GPU handoff. Okay. Problem 1, display crashes when turning off VM cause AMD GPUs don't reset cleanly when passed to a virtual machine and then released. So is it not fixable? Oh, there's a fix here. You need a kernel level GPU reset workaround. There are two main fixes. Enable vendor reset mode, best AMD fix. The vendor reset kernel module helps reset AMD GPUs properly after shutting down. Okay, let's do this. So I paste all of this inside of console. There's a bunch of stuff happening. Wait, install error 2. Should I worry about that? Probably not. Reboot your PC, check it loaded. Okay, so let's restart. Now it's just a mouse cursor and I can't do anything. It's crazy how everything easily breaks after pasting in random unknown commands into the terminal. I just reset my PC. Let's go into here. There's the Linux Mint logo. Wait, why did it open now? And does it work? It does work. Well, never mind, I guess. When I turned on my PC this time, there was no internet and no audio. So I wasn't sure what to do next and decided to reboot again. Very interesting indeed. What am I looking at? This is some sort of recovery mode that turned on. Unbelievable. Everything's just completely destroyed. Oh, look at that. I have CH rooted into Linux Mint. Oh, there are all of my files. Now, it's not good that this is what I'm seeing when I turn on Linux Mint. Where's the desktop environment? Where's the Windows virtual machine? Not really sure what to do from here. I'm back into ChatGPT. Let's see what I did there before. Oh, yes, this command got everything to self-destruct. Sudo apt install dkms git build. Okay, I understand nothing. What might have gone wrong? Wrong kernel module build. Vendor reset might not be compatible with your exact Linux Mint kernel. Oh. Conflicting module or driver. Your graphics card might have been in use by AMD's kernel driver when vendor reset tried to claim it. Okay, so there's a bunch of things that could have gone wrong. I have no idea how to undo any of them. How to fix? We'll get you back into a working system. Let's disable vendor reset for now and get Linux booting normally again. Step by step. Boot into recovery mode. On the boot menu, choose advanced options, select a recovery mode kernel, choose root shell prompt, type the following commands in the root shell. This doesn't look good. I just spent like half an hour doing random stuff, some init ram fs modifications, and now I see this. This is not the same thing as before. Now it says init ram fs here. Wait, my keyboard doesn't even work. There's a Linux Mint logo that stays here for a while. According to Mr. Google Gemini, this usually happens when the operating system can't find or mount the main root file system. It indicates that your Linux Mint system is failing to boot correctly and has dropped into the initial RAM file system. That's probably not good. It's crazy how it's been going so well and suddenly there's just chaos. The outcome is uncertain to me. You might end up with an unpredictable terminal-only system. Now I don't know how to even boot into Linux. So should I just go here into device or disk management and erase everything? I don't know how recoverable the Linux system is, especially with my skill set. So do I just delete volume? I can't fail to do this video for the second time. I already rage quit in the first video. I thought this was going to be it. I was seeing something on the other HDMI input and then kablamo, the computer doesn't even turn on. Oh, do I have to reinstall Linux again? Don't make me do that. Should I just go with Arch Linux? Skaboosh, this is gone. I don't know if I feel good about doing that. And this, gone as well. All this work, this took like 3 days of recording. It's just gone. Completely pitch black unallocated space. So which Linux do we want to install now? Look at the world of possibilities that just opened up. I deleted my Linux Mint, gone, reduced to atoms. Which distro should I install to make the GPU pass-through as easy as possible? Bold move, Thanos. It got the reference. Fedora Workstation, best bleeding edge support for new kernels, AMD drivers, and KVM. So maybe since it's bleeding edge, it now understands my GPU. That's also bleeding edge. I don't know. Arch Linux. Oh, there we go. Best for control, worst for beginners. So I guess let's do Fedora then. Install Fedora for Intel and AMD systems. Yoink. It's currently 4 a.m. I'm completely baked. I have to install it this video. Like, what's the point of this video if I don't install it? Wait, I just googled. There's a Fedora KDE version. Are these different versions? Fedora KDE Plasma Desktop. Download this one. So workstation probably comes with GNOME or GNOME. My bad from the last video. Okay, it's downloaded. I'm doing a Windows backup just in case. So once it's done, I'm going to restart my PC, go into the BIOS, and make sure I boot into the USB. Oh baby, this is not the menu I was expecting. Oh, I just smashed delete and here I am. Well, that was a little scary. So let's select, there are multiple. I guess select this one. This shouldn't even exist. It's from Linux Mint. I thought I deleted this. So let's maybe move Windows up here. Okay, save and exit. We should get into the USB. And there's the grub menu again. Managed to get back into Windows by changing the boot order in the BIOS. So is there like a grub menu that I forgot to delete or something? This is the C drive, the P drive. This is the Windows boot thing. This is the D drive, and this is unallocated. And this is a USB flash drive. So there's nothing here. Maybe I should do the Rufus thing again. Now I just don't do anything and restart my PC and we should be good. Whew. Okay, I got Fedora installed. Couldn't get recording to work. That took away nice 45 minutes of troubleshooting. And do you know what time is it? Hey, to do it all over again. If it doesn't work this time, I'm going to rage quit so hard. It's the next day. We are on Fedora, Dora the Explorer. Setting up GPU pass-through with Fedora single monitor. It's possible but requires careful configuration. By the way, you can tell that I love the mouse cursor getting bigger. Just stays there for a bit too long. Wait, I've already been to this link. Why would I go here? These packages provide a graphical virtualization. Wait, do we already have these installed? No. Sudo dnf install virtualization. No match for argument virtualization. Oh, I have to add an @ next to virtualization. One thing on Fedora is the no is selected by default, so you have to type in yes and then enter. There's probably a way to turn this off. I'm not going to bother now. So we should have everything from this one package only. After the package is installed, start the libvirtd service. Fedora uses the libvirt family of tools as a virtualization solution. What's the libvirt tools? Pass-through doesn't seem to exist on this page, so I'm not sure if that's the right tutorial. Also, I figured out that in the terminal, if I have some text like here, for example, Control A jumps to the beginning, Control E jumps to the end, and who would have guessed? Control W deletes the previous word. I always did it like this, one word at a time. Now my life is changed. Either way, let's edit the grub configuration. Check IOMMU is enabled. Let's do this now. Detected AMD IOMMU. Identify the GPU devices. Yes, of course. It's as if I know how to do this by memory now. Isolate the AMD GPU with VFIO. Now, I think this is what screwed me over last time. So I think I want to isolate the GPU through the grub menu. I know it's possible because I did it on Arch Linux. I need to put this inside of the grub menu and of course change my IDs. And success, I have done that. GPU pass-through plus reset bug. Option A, use the vendor reset kernel module. Oh, this is what broke my PC before. Let's look more into this vendor reset thing. Check GPU compatibility. List all VGA graphic devices. There's 2, that's my graphics card. Now check if it's installed in vendor resets source. Let's first do git clone vendor reset. Now I go into vendor reset and then grep-r and my PCI ID. It's not found. The vendor reset method, while effective for older AMD GPUs, is not designed for my graphics card. Oh, so we now know that vendor reset is not an option. That's good information, but what should I do instead? Wait, let's just double check everything. I don't remember what my motherboard is. There it is, Asus Prime 650B. Would this motherboard support pass-through? It should, in theory, support GPU pass-through as long as your system meets a few specific conditions. You need to enable SVM Secure Virtual Machine. If your GPU is in its own group, you're good to go. This looks like one group to me. Wait, my processor might not support virtualization. Yes, this should support GPU pass-through and all the necessary features. Okay. Enable SVM in your BIOS. On the AMD platform, go to advanced mode, advanced CPU configuration, SVM mode, enabled. Everything is turned on. So why would it not work? Okay, let's use the same prompt and triple check every single step. And we're back into super low quality, low resolution mode. Okay, I've installed Windows the exact same way as before. Now I'm installing the Radeon RX drivers. So this is the moment of truth. After this installs, stuff should be working, hopefully. Also, I've noticed a very interesting thing. When I don't have a cable connected to my integrated GPU, my PC still launches in this low resolution mode, even though there's a cable connected just to the dedicated graphics card. I'm not sure if that should be happening. I thought that I wasn't supposed to see anything on my display once I bound my GPU to the VFIO drivers. Those are a lot of words, but I'm pretending that's what should be happening. Okay, it says everything has been successfully installed, although my mouse cursor is weirdly freaking out. I guess let's just restart the virtual machine. Look at the mouse cursor, it's teleporting in place. Okay, virtual machine shut down. Zip. And my PC just crashed. I'm moving my mouse right now, nothing's happening. I run into this issue every single time I try this. It just freezes completely as soon as I shut down the virtual machine. Error starting domain. Oh, I remember this error from before. In the first video, whenever this error came up, it was because I started my PC without the HDMI cable plugged in into my dedicated GPU. But whenever I start my PC with the cable plugged in, nothing seems to work either way. So essentially, it's my 10th time trying this and I run into the same exact problem. For some reason, now my PC turned on with the actual graphics card, and if I go into display configuration, there's 2 monitors, even though I actually have 1 monitor. I have absolutely no clue what's going on. Oh wait, if I move my mouse cursor to the right, it disappears. So it goes to that second monitor. I don't have a second monitor. Oh baby, what did I just do? Look at this. First things first, did you notice the cool 4K resolution? Well, it's here. And most importantly, this is my dedicated graphics card right here. And would you look at that? Kernel driver in use, VFIO PCI. Turns out I had to choose primary video device to be IGFX video inside of my BIOS so that Fedora grabs my integrated GPU once both HDMI cables are connected. Okay, and maybe the virtual machine works now? Chances are low, but there's a possibility. By the way, this means that this whole entire time, the 60 Hz super tiny resolution display wasn't even necessary because my integrated GPU can do 4K. So it's just doing everything on a super tiny resolution for no reason. Okay, I think everything's set up. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's try turning on the virtual machine. Okay, nothing crashed. Stuff is slightly lagging. Now, what if I quit my switch? Surprise, surprise, my PC crashed. This has been going on for so long. I don't want to quit. I've sunk so much time into this. This is the sunk cost fallacy taking over, but I have to do this. I have to get this to work at least once. I want to see a Windows desktop through a virtual machine at least once. Okay, I have changed even more settings. Now there's only my dedicated GPU here. Previously there was an integrated GPU here. That's why it was probably crashing. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's go. I just went back into Windows, downloaded CPU-Z, and then created this vbiosgpu.rom file. Yep, that's what it is. And now, according to ChatGPT, I need to attach it to my GPU inside of Virt Manager. Okay, let's try launching the virtual machine. Ooh, there's no error now, and my mouse isn't lagging. I'm switching my HDMI input. Please work. Okay, it doesn't work, but I see all of those colors like I did before. This is progress. I'm so happy that my PC didn't crash now. So there's probably a problem with this file here. Oh no. I just tried turning on Windows and...
What is wrong with you? Why are you blue?
A required device isn't connected or can't be accessed. I don't think that's a good sign. Oh, it's gone. I might be running into some weird Windows bugs. Can I even interact with my computer? Oh, yes, I can. Look at this artwork I'm creating. Okay, what is happening right now? I only have my dedicated graphics card connected now. If I go into advanced display, I can only choose 60 Hz. I just tried to fix it multiple times and there's only 60 Hz here. This should be 240. And here it says it's using my dedicated graphics card. Very interesting. I don't know if I should proceed further or just do damage control and fix all this mess, because the more I try to get this virtualization thing to work, the more things break. My PC blue screens, 240 Hz isn't even an option anymore on my main graphics card. Yeah, I really don't want to rage quit for the second time, but I think I'll have to. I'll be forced to rage quit. No way, it just worked. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Oh baby. Damn, that was so painful. What? Oh, I tried so many things for so many hours. Didn't even record it. There was no point. I was just restarting my PC over and over again. And then I just stumbled upon a random Reddit comment. It said to add this line to my XML config, just randomly. So that's what I did, and it worked now. I thought this video was over. I wasn't going to make it work. And it was this tiny little line that made it work. Wow. Okay. Would you look at that? I'm back inside of Windows. Psych, it's actually Fedora. And this grabbed my full display resolution. It's 4K, it's 240 Hz, everything works. You can see it says there's my graphics card here. Wow. So this is me running Windows inside of Linux. Now, luckily, I have two mice here, one of which I can use for Windows and the other one for Linux. And my keyboard has this little useful switch that lets me switch between Bluetooth, the cable, or the wireless receiver. So essentially, those are three inputs. I can use the wired mode for Linux and the receiver for the virtual machine. So I don't even need to have multiple keyboards, which is amazing.